Alright, what's going on, everybody? Well, I know it's been a while since I've done a video, and I'm sorry. I've been trying to think on what I could do to keep popping out videos, and I don't think I could take you guys on a walk with us every day. That wouldn't be much fun. So what I was actually thinking about doing is I think I will actually do a parts review on this one. I have a 2008 Dodge Avenger, and it needed brakes, front brakes, a couple years ago. Being out here in Colorado, you have to deal with a lot of stop and go traffic, a lot of hills. So the chances of your rotors overheating and warping increases. So what I did was, I was on Rock Auto and purchased a set of Power Stop brakes. Now, I've never owned Power Stop brakes. I've never even heard of them until then. The bonus was I actually got a free hat with it, so that was kind of cool. But I've had those rotors on my Dodge for over 2 years. Now, as far as highway miles go with it, I don't do a lot of highway driving. I'm only at the most 15 miles away from work, so I'm not doing a lot of stop and go or anything like that, hills and stuff. But I do have to drive into Denver sometimes when I have to go to the VA, so it'll get its mileage there. And I'll tell you what, I've never had brakes like this before. These have probably, and this is just my opinion, other people that put the Power Stop on their vehicles probably have a different opinion. It might be negative, but mine is going to be positive. My rotors have not warped. When I did the decoupler pulley on the alternator, I had to take the right front wheel off, and I actually looked and saw or felt what kind of lip I was going to have on those rotors. There was no lip on those rotors. None. The pads were wearing, but there was no lip on those rotors, inside and out. So I will give a very good positive review to Power Stop. I actually do recommend purchasing Power Stop brakes if you find them, or if you can see, or if you know where they're at. However, I would actually only suggest doing Power Stop brakes if you live in hilly areas, mountainous areas, or if you have a hot rod or something like that and you need to stop pretty quick. I would not recommend these rotors if you were doing just basically everyday driving and it was just normal flat terrain. That would be overkill. You're not going to warp your rotors. The reason why I got these was because another member of my family can't keep their foot off the brake, so they tend to ride their brakes a little bit more, which warps the rotor. So I had those on my 2008 Dodge, and I liked them so much that I also put them on our 2013 GMC Terrain. Let me show you the brakes. There we go. So those are slotted rotors. Okay, I got those for the Terrain. Now, I guarantee it that I don't feel too much of a lip. But this car has gotten more highway mileage than the Dodge after after I put them on. On this, what I did was we put these on right before we left for South Carolina. So we drove this from from Colorado to South Carolina 1 year. These have been on here a little over, I wouldn't say a little over. It's almost going on about 2 years on these. So we've taken this to and from South Carolina, Myrtle Beach area. And then last year we drove this back and forth to Ohio. If you were to get into this car right now and touch the brakes, it stops on a dime and it feels like they've never been touched. It feels like brand new brakes still on this car. It's absolutely amazing. I love that these rotors aren't jacked up or anything like that. I absolutely love it. But that is my Power Stop review. I recommend going out and getting Power Stop brakes and pads. I got them on Rock Auto. I don't know whether or not they sell them anywhere else. I'm sure they probably have a website where you could probably purchase, maybe. But I would definitely recommend the Power Stop brakes. Now, before I leave, on Facebook, I saw one of my friends from high school went in for an operation. Apparently, he had a bad heart and was, I think in the future, from what I read, that he was on the list for a heart transplant. And a couple days ago, I don't know what they were doing. They were doing something that had something to do, I believe, with his heart, and he ended up going into cardiac arrest. And I think they said that they had to work on him for like 11 minutes or something like that to get him going again. And I read, I believe it was this morning, that they said that if he comes out of his state, that he won't have a good life. So they're probably going to pull the plug. Sorry to end this on a sad note. I apologize, but I just wanted to say to my friend Brian Craig Billman, rest in peace, my friend. It was a high school, and we knew him all the way from elementary all the way up to high school. So, much love to his wife. Don't know. I'm not close to them at all. So they do have their, set of family issues, but I just wanted to, shout out and just let his wife know that, I hope he rests in peace, and he's right here. Actually, here. So, on that note, the other thing that we're going to do, so I'll actually end it on a positive note instead of a negative note, so I wanted to get that in. So we're going to do a positive note on the ending. So we ended up getting parts in for the MGB, although we're not using that. So here we go. Got some parts in for the MGB. So there's the exhaust gasket that we're going to hook up. And we're going to get that put in there, and we will do a video on that. So the next video that you'll probably watch is probably going to be, we're probably going to be installing that, get that exhaust on there. So the other thing that I am hoping I am going to do, and I'm going to make a video on this one too, is I am going to replace, I don't know the state of the oil pump in the MGB, and I don't know how old that oil has been in there. It's probably been in there for freaking forever. So what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to take the oil pan off, put a new gasket on it. There's a dent on the bottom of it, so we're going to pop that out, change the oil, and then we're going to change the oil pump out. So that's what's in store, and I hope everybody has a good day, and keep it real, keep it right. Later.